on Kids Place Live. So, Tori, Rhett and I just started reading a book together. Now, Rhett is 12 years old. He's in the 6th grade. And so this is a book that's more appropriate for his age than some of our younger listeners. But I just had to share this book for any of our older listeners, or maybe you've got an older brother or sister, or even a grown-up. I'm loving this as much as Rhett. There's a book that's called The Age of Miracles, and it's been out for a while. It's called Karen Thompson Walker. I actually read this book before, but the time that we're living in right now kept reminding me of this book, just that it's a time where the world is turned upside down, or in this case, for this particular book, which, by the way, was a New York Times bestseller, so if I'm not giving it credibility, let that. But in this book, it takes place from the protagonist, it takes place from the perspective of an 11-year-old girl. She's the protagonist. And in this book, the earth starts slowing. Oh. So as you know, the earth spins on its axis. We've got 24-hour days. The earth is spinning, spinning, spinning. But what would happen, Tori, if the earth slowed down in its spinning? I mean, if there's one thing that we can count on, is that we will have a 24-hour day, right? The earth is going to spin on its axis, and, you know, every days we'll have slightly different sunsets and sunrises, but the day, you know, days are days.
So if the earth starts spinning slower, then that would affect hours of day and the length of the night and how long your day is, and crops growing and sunlight and all of that.
Yeah. So this is fiction. This is not something that we are having to worry about in real life. But what I'm seeing reading this book is that the way families are reacting to it is very, very similar to how our families are living through this time together, where you're not quite sure what's going on, and all you have is each other. At the end of the day, you know, we're home in our safe places, we're with our families, we have each other, and we're all, and even though we are apart from our friends, we're all in this thing together. We're all seeing it through together, and that's sort of what's happening in this book. So anywho, it's a really, really fantastic book. Grown-ups, I think even if you don't have a kid who's really old enough to read this on their own, you would maybe enjoy it. It's not a sad book or a scary book necessarily. It's a really thoughtful one. It's kind of poignant. So it's called The Age of Miracles, and it is by Karen Thompson Walker. And again, this is a book that my 12-year-old son Rhett and I are reading together, but separately. Where we both like reading on our own head. So he has a copy, I have a copy, and then we're reading it, and then we're talking about it. Instead of reading it out loud together, we're just kind of doing it on our own time and then talking about it. So it's our little family book club. So Tori, you might want to check this one out too. It's called The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker.